Alright, yeah, it's a bit of a weird day. This was originally supposed to be a rest day, but we are gonna be just building up our weak points, because I usually just do a bro split and then I warm up like my entire body every day. We're gonna be warming up our entire body today, but we're gonna be working on hamstrings and arms, just because if I we'll throw in a little back, but I don't want to mess with the recovery too much for back, because it can be a little tricky, because I have a back day in 2 days, and if I thrash my back right now, there may not be, no pun intended, but there may not be anything, or I may not be coming back from that. It's so you just got to play the game a little. I don't know what the word is. It's like you gotta make sure that you're playing your cards right. Because if you thrash a muscle group too much, and then you throw your entire week out of whack, then that's an issue. But if you can kind of balance it the right way, hit something just a little bit, not too much, and then you come back even stronger, more muscle, all the good things, then you're winning. You're getting to your goals, and man, it's just fun. It is just fun. So that's kind of where my headspace is at right now. As far as the meditations, it's been freaking cool. I'm just seeing life in a lot different of a perspective. It's because I used to think of life like it was like one task after another, especially when you kind of get into the work world and you're out of like the bubble of school for your entire life. At least I notice you get into this mode of, well, I need to do all these things. I need to pay my rent, I need to pay for my groceries, I need to pay for my gas. You need to pay for all these different things, and then you also just live life. You're like always adjusting, especially like in your 20s, because that's kind of like your transition period. Like if you went to college or anything like that, and then you're going out into the work world, it's like a weird balance you gotta strike just to make sure that you're living life the way that you want to, but then at the same time you're taking care of your responsibilities. So that's kind of where my headspace is at. It's weird because you're always getting used to a new normal, but at the same time it's all perspective, and that's what I'm really enjoying right now. You kind of instead of thinking of all right, my life is a to-do list, I kind of think of it like life, and this is gonna sound corny, but life's kind of, it's a dance. You have your sequences or your routines, whether you go to the gym or whatever your daily routine is, that's kind of like your choreography, so to speak. You kind of have these different sequences. Every day is a little different, and then you're kind of flowing into one thing and another. Because if you think about it as a to-do list, kind of gets monotonous. You almost feel like to-do lists for me, those are for I don't know, they're for AI, or for computer programs. You're not really robotic like that. It's not just you're not just a machinery and you have to do one task after another like you would in a computer program. But and so that's kind of the interesting thing, because we could very well be like that. It could this all could be simulation, whatever, all those different theories. And then what keeps the motivation going even more, thinking that we're, not just computer programs, and that, life is a dance and everything is a little, easier that way. Like, if you kind of catch my drift. And so that's the other kind of cool thing, where it's not, it's weird, because like you can't really, you just don't know, like, and if you knew, then I don't know, you'd probably, but like life wouldn't be as fun if you knew, like if you knew, like let's say you're playing a game of hide and seek, and you knew exactly where everyone was, the game's not as fun, like if you knew everything, it's just not as fun. Like, I don't know if you all watch Rick and Morty, but that's kind of like the concept of Rick. Like, he is he knows everything, but because he knows everything, he's miserable, and he just, and so there's kind of like this balance of, you know enough to play the game, but you don't know too much that you know all the answers of the game. So, yeah, it's kind of cool that way, and that's where, you find your own game. Like, for me, my game is bringing health into bodybuilding. Like, that's what I'm truly passionate about. And, I'm passionate about learning and all these different other things. And, it kind of comes with the territory of like bringing a lot of health into bodybuilding. I'm just constantly learning. And that brings me to my other point. That's, kind of made life really fun. You get to a point where you realize that the basics are pretty much all you need to understand the complex. Like, I was trying to, go through all these different shortcuts, like as a coach and as an athlete, like, all right, just give me this like quick fix, just do this, just do that. And it turns out that was the long way. That it turns out like it wasn't, that it took me a lot longer to get to where I wanted to be, as opposed to just mastering the basics and just understanding the fundamentals of bodybuilding. So like understanding all the different amino acids and protein, understanding all the different like triglycerides, saturated fats, phospholipids, just all these different things that are, you're basically, you're understanding the different fundamentals of each individual thing. And once you get that, then you kind of get to paint this beautiful picture of whatever you're trying to learn. And so that's kind of, it's really cool. It's you can't really shortcut the basics. And I say that now, but there will probably be a day where you can just take like a computer chip and be like, all right, I want to learn this language, or I want to know, I want to know what discrete math is, and how to, compose those formulations, and, whatever, it's like, whatever you want to know, there's probably going to be like a hologram or like a chip that you can just implant into your brain, and then boom, you understand all of it. But yeah, that's kind of the exciting thing. It's weird because you go through all these different trials and errors of, whatever your passion is, and you just keep going. You just keep playing the game. Like, the game doesn't really stop, because if the game stopped, we would have nothing to play with. We would have nothing to keep going with. Like, that's kind of that's the whole arc of my perspective with everything. So, that being said, enough of that rant. We are going to be tackling some hamstrings and arms. So I noticed in my side chest, and also in like my back double bicep and back lat spread, like my hamstrings are just not where my quads are. You know, it's like, it's a very minuscule difference, but it's still a difference, you know, and that's one thing I noticed that a lot of, or I'm not gonna even say a lot of people, I'm just gonna say that I struggle with. You know, I definitely want to make my physique as complete as possible. Like, it's going to be cool. I was talking to my coach this morning. It is going to be cool next time I get contest prep shredded, just to see all the hard work that we're building, because I didn't even compete last year. Like, that's kind of wild, because, you know, I've been competing, man, since 2018, and it's 2026, almost every year. I think I took about like 2 to 3 years off within that span, but I was doing like 2 shows a year. You know, it was all men's physique, and, you know, I just wasn't feeling men's physique after a little bit. It was just like, I almost wanted more of a challenge, and it wasn't even an ego thing like that. It was also the fact that class physique is just fun. Like, I really enjoy the poses and just getting into the flow of it. Like it's kind of like building, you know, the X frame, like big cap shoulders, tiny waist, and then just flaring quads. You know, like that's kind of where I really want to take everything. That's just my 2 cents, and that's what I love about bodybuilding. You can constantly be building, but we're kind of getting, you know, I'm 27 now, so we're kind of getting to that muscle maturity phase, and it's going to be cool just seeing all the different muscle density that we've built over the years. So I'm freaking excited. This is going to be a good lift, and yeah, not much else to say there. Let's just get in there and freaking get after it. All right, so extremely successful lift today. It was weird because we did arms and hamstrings, which usually don't go together, but got to build up the weak points. So we basically just spammed forearms, biceps, triceps at the cables, you know, just with like a regular straight bar. And then we did, you know, a little bit of back, and we kind of warmed up our entire body. But then we just went over to leg curls, and we basically did one after, like, just back to back of single leg curls until failure with a relatively light weight. But that was just because we were doing like, you know, 5 rounds of just hamstrings. So that was pretty freaking cool. But anyways, we don't need to do too much today. It's kind of just to get, you know, a little bit of blood flowing to the muscles that we want to repair. So let's get a closer look at what we're working with here. This is post-holiday season, so we're not nearly as lean as we were, but I looked at the meal plan for this next week, and it is freaking low as far as the carbs, as far as the fats. So this is going to be a little bit interesting, but I'm looking forward to it because it's kind of like one of those cutting seasons that, you know, it's almost like you know you're getting to where you want to go, but at the same time, like, you're, you know, just kind of take your time with it. So anyways, oh, sorry about that, man. How are you? All right, so let's see what we're working with. Alright, so that's a freaking wrap for today. Yeah, the main goal right now is to, balance out the physique, fat to muscle-wise, and then to just keep growing. It's going to be a cool contest prep next time, just because everything's, just a little bit bigger, going to be a little bit leaner, but yeah, it's going to be fun. We have a new peptide in the mix as well, so we're going to be doing, in 2 weeks, we're going to be doing IGF as well as YK11. So that's going to kind of help with, just overall muscle density, fat loss, then just overall energy levels. So freaking looking forward to that, but it's going to be a new journey, and I want to see just how much it fills everything out. So that's going to be freaking fun. But let's go back to my place and get a good meditation in. All right, so some considerable time has passed, and we are, there we go, oh yeah, that's the stuff. So, some time has passed. It is now 7:30, and we finished our training and cardio around like 2-ish, like 1:42-ish. So we basically just been moving pretty much all day, and then taking care of some stuff with the Wi-Fi. Just adulting type stuff. Yay. But anyways, we are back with our second meditation of the day. Not much else to say. Let's just freaking get to it. And like I said, we are moving, so don't mind. This entire room is basically just piles of stuff that we need to organize. So, anyways, we have 22 minutes on the clock, and if you would like to meditate with me, check the description down below. Plug that ChatGPT prompt into ChatGPT, and then put your responses to the questions, and it'll personalize a transcendental meditation mantra for you. And then we can meditate together. Or, just kind of do you. Well, whatever you're doing, just have fun. Anyways, though, got 22 minutes. Let's freaking go. Give me 1 second, I'm gonna go close the other door. It's a little loud.
Oh, I kinda like the light. I like the light, baby. No, open it.
Well, can you turn it down just a little bit?
I did.
Okay, thank you.
Wait, then turn the whole light off. I just wanted more light in here.
Oh, okay.
So because you made me turn this off for the cat. So I want the door open to get the whole light. Oh my god. Now turn the whole light off, please.
Freaking back. And we got 20 minutes and 30 seconds to go. Alright. Whew. I don't know about y'all, but that scared me. Like jump scare type. Whew. I mean, whenever that happens, it's a good sign. It means that we were deep in the meditation. But, whew, yeah, left leg is asleep too. Anyways, though, yeah, that was awesome. Yeah, the cool thing that I really like about this style of meditation, transcendental meditation, is it's a very good way of leading you into nothing. And let me explain. The more that we can go into nothingness, so to speak, the more space we have. So, I mean, being in nothing kind of seems scary at first, but at the end of the day, you're free to do what you want because there's nothing. Like, that's what I freaking like, because the mantra itself is it's not supposed to remind you of any particular word. That's the whole point of it. Because my mantras, for example, when I inhale I go Shamaya, and when I exhale I go Virayom, and I'm just silently repeating this to myself the whole time. Those mantras, they're not associated with any known language to us. And the reason why we do that is because you don't want the mantra to remind you of anything. So just like a quick example, if I did on the inhale, I repeat to myself peace, and on the exhale, I repeat to myself love. I would be thinking about all the different things that remind me of peace, all the different things that remind me of love, and then it just gets messy, then you're just thinking about more stuff. And so when we just focus on things that don't remind us of anything, it leads us into nothing. And then in that nothingness, we have a lot of space. And then, that's where you can kind of get creative with whatever you want to do. So I think it's pretty freaking cool, because you're not focusing on one thing in particular, like you are for the mantra. But when you get to that space, you're just freaking relaxed. Like you're literally ready for anything. And then anytime that, you feel a little worked up, or like you're thinking about other things, you just go right back to the mantra. Like it's as simple as that. That's what I freaking like about this, because I am a freaking chronic overthinker. I have been all my life. I've always had ADHD, bouncing off the walls. When I was in school, I couldn't pay attention in class that well. Like the only time that I really was freaking concentrated was when I was doing some type of movement. When I was, in soccer or taekwondo or random stuff when I was growing up. And now obviously it's bodybuilding. Like that's kind of my, that's my form of movement right now. But man, when I started incorporating meditation, when I was around 20, and now I'm 27, meditating for 7 years, it's, I mean, I don't want to sound like a business bro, but it's a freaking game changer, to say the least. It is, I really can't imagine my life without it now. It's like brushing my teeth or going to the gym, or just anything that's in my daily routine. This is a part of it, because it's just enhanced my life tenfold. And that's kind of why I share it, because it's such a big part of my life. So yeah, I don't know. I've tried a lot of different kinds of meditations. I've tried, regular mindfulness meditation. I've tried, a loving kindness meditation. I've tried the body scan meditation, and those are cool. I was definitely relaxed
But this is like I'm relaxed and I'm also in a flow outside of this. It's not like I'm like obsessed with bringing back that feeling that I had in the meditation, because I always have it. And I think a big part of that shift as well, because it's not like I was doing like the second I was doing transcendental meditation, all of it clicked. It wasn't like that at all. That was cool, right? As I said click, my ankle just kind of clicked. But yeah, it wasn't like that all the time with transcendental meditation. The way that I kind of like, you could say like meditate in life, just always present, for the most part. Obviously I'm distracted sometimes, but the way that I do that is I always go back to the fact that, or I always remind myself that when I'm doing anything, I'm just doing that thing, like nothing else. So, when I meditate, I meditate. When I brush my teeth, I brush my teeth. When I go to the restroom, I go to the restroom. It's like, you thought I was going to take a shit. Well, that too. But, that's kind of my whole thing with all of this. Because meditation to me, the core of my definition of meditation is when your intention as an individual meets the action, whatever you're doing. Even if you're doing nothing, you're still doing something. Like, I know it's like a weird concept to grasp, but like, if you're, not doing anything, that's like a form of doing something, because you have to have the intention to do nothing. Like, you're always a part of it. And so that's where I that's kind of how I think of meditation. It's when you as the individual are intending to do something. That's pretty much it. So, yeah, not really much else to add there. Good lift today. Hamstrings, arms, things I need to work on. And then I kind of left chest out of it because I definitely need to work on my chest, but I just did chest 2 days ago, so it's still pretty freaking sore. But we'll probably hit maybe like a little bit of chest tomorrow. We'll see how we feel. But yeah, that's pretty much freaking it for today. Man, I just appreciate y'all. Y'all are amazing. Thanks for being here for the ride. We will have maybe like a chest day tomorrow. We'll have to see. We might do like a chest and calf day or something like that. Just building up my weak points, just random stuff. But anyways, we definitely have back on Monday. But for now, it's pretty much freaking it. We're going to go grub, take a shower, probably bust out a piece of content, because I'm really fascinated with amino acids lately and all the different functions of each one. So we're probably gonna get a video done there, and then that's about it. Yeah. Have a great night, my friends. Great day, night, whatever. However you're watching this, have a great time. Anyways, I will see y'all probably tomorrow.